The ship landed on Prime just as the three suns began to set. The sky turned purple and gold, and the crystal towers of the palace glowed like diamonds. It was the most beautiful planet Wu had ever seen, but he was not here to admire the view. He was here to work. Wu stepped off the ship and felt the eyes of 100 guards on him. They were tall and thin, with skin that glowed softly like moonlight. Their eyes were large and silver, and they looked at him the way someone might look at a dangerous animal. He was used to this. Humans were not welcome in most parts of the galaxy. An official walked toward him. The official wore long white robes and carried a staff made of pure light. His face showed no emotion, but his eyes were cold. "You are the human?" the official asked. "I am Wu. I was sent by the Galactic Council." The official looked him up and down. Wu knew what he saw. A man of average height with broad shoulders and thick arms, a face covered in scars from years of battle, hands that had killed more enemies than he could count. He looked nothing like these graceful creatures. "Follow me," the official said. "The queen is waiting." They walked through the palace halls. Everything was made of crystal and light. The walls showed moving images of history. The floors were so clean that Wu could see his own reflection. Soft music played from somewhere he could not see. It was peaceful. It was beautiful. It made him feel out of place. The throne room was the largest space Wu had ever entered. The ceiling was so high that clouds floated inside. Thousands of nobles stood in rows, all of them watching him with the same cold eyes. At the far end of the room sat Queen on a throne made of starlight. She was ancient. Wu could feel it even though her face looked young. Her skin glowed brighter than any other. Her eyes were not silver but pure white like twin moons. She wore a crown of floating crystals that circled her head slowly. When she looked at him, he felt like she was looking into his soul. "So this is what the council sends us," Queen said. Her voice was soft but it filled the entire room. "A human." Wu bowed low. "Your Majesty, I am honored to serve." "Honored?" The Queen's lips curved into something that was not quite a smile. "You should be. No human has ever set foot on Prime. Your kind is known throughout the galaxy as violent and primitive. You fight wars for sport. You destroy your own planet. You kill each other over things that do not matter." Wu said nothing. He kept his head bowed. "But the council insists," the Queen continued. "They say humans make excellent warriors. They say your kind does not know how to give up. They say you will protect my daughter better than any guard." She paused. "I do not believe them, but I have no choice. The Dominion threatens our borders. My daughter needs protection that I cannot provide." She raised her hand and the crowd parted. A young woman walked forward. She was smaller than the others and her glow was softer like candlelight. Her hair was long and white, flowing behind her like water. Her eyes were pale blue, the color of Earth's sky. She was the most beautiful creature Wu had ever seen. "This is Princess," the Queen said. "My youngest daughter. You will guard her with your life. If any harm comes to her, I will personally end your existence. Do you understand?" Wu looked at the princess. She was staring at him with wide eyes. He could see fear in them, fear of him. It hurt more than he expected. He bowed again, this time to the princess. "Your Highness, I swear on my life that no harm will come to you. I will protect you until my last breath." The princess did not respond. She just kept staring at him like he was a monster from her nightmares. The Queen waved her hand. "Take him to his quarters. He begins his duty tomorrow." That night Wu sat alone in his room. It was a small space near the princess's chambers. The bed was too soft for him. The air smelled like flowers. Everything was wrong, but he had slept in worse places. Much worse. He thought about the princess, about the fear in her eyes. He understood it. His face was not pleasant to look at. The scar that ran from his forehead to his chin was a gift from a warrior 3 years ago. The burn marks on his neck came from a plasma explosion. His nose had been broken so many times that it no longer sat straight. He was a soldier, a weapon. That was all he knew how to be. But when he had looked at Princess, something strange happened. He felt a desire he had not felt in years, the desire to be gentle, the desire to be kind, the desire to be something more than just a killer. He pushed the thought away. It was foolish. She was a princess. He was a human. The galaxy itself stood between them. The next morning, Wu stood outside the princess's door before the suns rose. When she emerged, she gasped and stepped back. She had not expected him to be there. "Good morning, Your Highness," he said softly. He kept his voice low and calm, the way one might speak to a frightened animal. She stared at him. You were here all night." "Yes." "Did you sleep?" "No." Her eyes widened. "But why?" Wu looked at her with steady eyes. "Because that is my duty. I am here to protect you. I cannot protect you if I am sleeping." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then something changed in her eyes. The fear was still there, but there was something else now. Curiosity, interest. "What is your name?" she asked. "Wu, Your Highness." "Wu," she repeated slowly, as if tasting the word. "That is a strange name." "It is a human name. It means great protection." A small smile appeared on her face. It was like watching a flower bloom. "Great protection, I see. Then perhaps you are well named." It was a small thing, just a smile and a few kind words. But for Wu, it felt like the first ray of sunlight after years of darkness. He bowed his head. "I will try to live up to it, Your Highness." And in that moment, standing in the crystal hallway of an alien palace, the unlikely guardian made a silent promise to himself. He would protect this princess. Not because the council ordered him to, not because the queen demanded it, but because, for reasons he did not yet understand, it felt like the only thing that mattered. Days turned into weeks. Wu followed Princess everywhere she went. He stood behind her during meals. He waited outside her door during her lessons. He walked 3 steps behind her through the palace gardens. He was always there, silent as a shadow, watching everything. The court did not like him. They whispered about him when they thought he could not hear, but Wu heard everything. "Look at the beast," one noble said, "standing there like a trained animal. How can the queen allow such a creature near the princess?" Another replied, "Humans are savages. It is only a matter of time before he shows his true nature." "I heard humans eat raw meat. Can you imagine? Disgusting." Wu heard every word. He felt every insult, but he said nothing. He showed nothing. His face remained calm like still water. He had learned long ago that words only hurt if you let them, so he did not let them. But Princess noticed. One afternoon she was sitting in the garden reading a book. Wu stood nearby, his eyes scanning the area for any sign of danger. A group of young nobles walked past. They looked at Wu and laughed. "The princess and her pet," one of them said loudly. "How sweet." The others laughed. They walked away still laughing. Looked up from her book, her face was troubled. "Does it not bother you, the things they say?" Wu did not look at her. He kept his eyes on the garden. "No, Your Highness." "You are lying." He finally looked at her. Her blue eyes were watching him with concern. It surprised him. No one had ever looked at him with concern before. "It does not matter what they say," he said quietly. "My duty is to protect you. Their words do not change that." Closed her book. "But it is not fair. You have done nothing wrong. You stand guard all night. You never rest. You never eat until I have finished my meals. I have noticed these things." Wu felt something strange in his chest. She had noticed. She had been watching him. "It is not for you to worry about, Your Highness." "But I do worry." She stood up and walked toward him. She stopped just a few feet away. This close, he could see the soft glow of her skin. She smelled like starlight and flowers. "Why do you work so hard? Why do you suffer so much for someone you do not even know?" Wu was silent for a long moment. He was not used to talking about himself. He was not used to anyone caring. "May I speak freely, Your Highness?" "Please." He took a deep breath. I had a sister, her name was Min. She was 5 years younger than me. She had a smile that could light up any room. She was kind and gentle and innocent. She was everything good in my life. Listened without speaking. 10 years ago, there was an invasion on Earth. A species called the attacked our colony. They came without warning. They burned everything. They killed everyone they found. His voice remained steady, but his hands had formed fists at his sides. I was a soldier. I was supposed to protect people, but I was not there. I was fighting on another front. By the time I came back, it was too late. Your sister? Gone. I found her hiding place. It was a small space under the floor of our home. She had hidden there, waiting for me to come save her. But I never came. The fire took her before I could get there. His eyes filled with tears. They glowed softly as they rolled down her cheeks. I am so sorry. Wu shook his head. Do not cry for me, Your Highness. I do not deserve your tears. I failed her. I failed the one person who needed me most. That is a weight I will carry until I die. Is that why you do this? Why you protect others? Yes, I cannot bring Min back. I cannot change what happened, but I can make sure it never happens again. Not to anyone I am sworn to protect. He looked directly into her eyes. I will not fail you, Princess. I will not let what happened to my sister happen to you. I would die 1,000 deaths before I let any harm come to you. Stared at him, something had changed in her eyes. The fear was completely gone now. In its place was something else, something warm. You are not what I expected, she said softly. What did you expect? A monster, a savage, that is what everyone says humans are. She shook her head slowly. But you are none of those things. You are kind. You are honorable. You are. She paused, searching for the right word. You are good. Wu did not know what to say. No one had ever called him good before. Thank you, Your Highness. She smiled. It was a real smile this time, not the polite smile she showed the court. Please, when we are alone, call me. I cannot do that, Your Highness. It would not be proper. Then I am ordering you to do it, as your princess. A small smile appeared on Wu's face. It felt strange. He had not smiled in a very long time. As you wish. Her smile grew brighter. See, that was not so hard. From that day forward, something changed between them. Began talking to him more. She asked him questions about Earth, about humans, about his life. She seemed genuinely interested in his answers. And slowly, carefully, Wu began to open up. He told her about Earth's blue oceans and green forests. He told her about human music and art and literature. He told her about the way humans laughed and cried and loved with their whole hearts. He told her that humans were not perfect, but they tried. They always tried. Listened to everything with wide eyes. She had never met anyone like him. He was strong but gentle. He was deadly but kind. He carried so much pain, yet he kept moving forward. One night, after everyone else had gone to sleep, she asked him a question that caught him off guard. Do you ever get lonely, Wu? He thought about it for a moment. I used to, not anymore. Why not? He looked at her. The 3 moons have shone through the window, casting silver light across her face. She was so beautiful it made his heart ache. Because I have found something worth living for, he said quietly. She did not ask what he meant. Perhaps she already knew. Perhaps she felt the same way. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the moons rise higher in the sky. And for the first time in 10 years, Wu felt something he thought he had lost forever. Hope. The weeks continued to pass, and the bond between Wu and grew stronger with each day. What had started as simple conversation became something deeper. They shared stories. They shared dreams. They shared parts of themselves that they had never shown anyone else. Taught Wu about culture. She explained how her people believed that all life was connected through light. Every living being had a spark inside them, and when they died, that spark returned to the stars. She taught him their language, laughing gently when he struggled with the musical sounds that were so different from human speech. "No, no," she said one afternoon, covering her mouth to hide her smile. "You are saying beautiful flower, but the way you say it, it sounds like angry vegetable." Wu frowned. "They sound the same to me." "They are completely different," she laughed, and the sound was like bells ringing. "Listen, Vilas, that means beautiful flower, but you are saying Sorai, that means angry vegetable." He tried again, "Vilas." She clapped her hands. "Yes, perfect, see you can learn." Wu felt warmth spread through his chest. He would mispronounce 1,000 words just to hear her laugh like that. In return, he taught her about human ways. He showed her how humans greeted each other with handshakes and hugs. He explained human emotions, which were stronger and more chaotic than feelings. He told her about love, how humans could feel it so deeply that it changed their entire lives. "Your people feel love too," he said. "But humans, we feel it like a fire. It burns inside us. It makes us do impossible things. We will cross galaxies for the people we love. We will fight armies. We will die." Listened with fascination. "That sounds frightening." "It can be, but it is also beautiful. To love someone that much, to be loved that much, it is the greatest feeling a human can know." She was quiet for a moment. "Have you ever felt it, this burning love?" Wu looked at her. The words almost came out. He almost told her the truth, but he stopped himself. "Once," he said instead, "for my sister, she was my whole world." Nodded slowly, but there was something in her eyes, a question she did not ask. The court began to notice their closeness. The whispers grew louder. Some nobles were angry. A princess spending so much time with a human was shameful. Others were worried. Humans were dangerous. What if the princess was being manipulated? Queen heard the whispers. She summoned to her private chambers one evening. "My daughter," the queen said, her voice cool and distant, "I have heard troubling reports about you and the human." Stood straight, trying not to show her nervousness. "I do not understand, mother. What reports?" "They say you spend hours talking with him. They say you laugh with him. They say you look at him the way one looks at a friend." The queen's white eyes narrowed. "Or more than a friend." "He is my guard. We speak sometimes, that is all." "That is not all. I can see it in your face." The queen stood and walked toward her daughter. "I understand that you are young. I understand that you are curious about other species, but you must remember who you are. You are the princess of the empire. You cannot allow yourself to become attached to a human." Felt anger rise in her chest. It was an unfamiliar feeling. She had never been angry at her mother before. "Why not? He has done nothing wrong. He protects me with his life. He treats me with kindness and respect. He is more honorable than any noble in this palace." The queen's face hardened. "He is human. His kind is violent and unpredictable. You do not know what he is capable of." "I know exactly what he is capable of. He is capable of sacrifice. He is capable of loyalty. He is capable of gentleness." His voice was shaking now. "You judge him because of his species, but you do not know him. I do." For a long moment, mother and daughter stared at each other. Then the queen sighed. "I am not forbidding you from speaking with him. I am simply warning you. Be careful, my daughter. The heart can lead us to dangerous places." Bowed her head, "Yes, mother." But as she left the chamber, she knew something had changed inside her. For the first time in her life, she had her mother, not with her words but with her heart. That night she found Wu standing guard outside her room as always. The moons were full, and their light made his scars look softer somehow. "You heard," she said. It was not a question. Wu nodded. "I heard." "I am sorry. My mother does not understand." "She does not need to understand. She is right to be cautious." He looked at her with sad eyes. "I am just a soldier. I do not belong in your world. Perhaps it is better if we maintain our distance." "No," the word came out before she could stop it. She took a step closer to him. I do not care what she says. I do not care what anyone says. You are the first person who has ever truly seen me, not the princess, not the royal daughter me. Wu felt his heart pounding. He knew he should walk away. He knew this path led nowhere good, but he could not make himself leave. You feel it too, she whispered. I know you do. I can sense your emotions. That is my gift and I sense. She paused, her cheeks glowing brighter. I sense that you care for me, more than a guard should care. He could not lie to her. He had never been able to lie. Yes, he admitted. I care for you more than I should, more than I have any right to. She smiled, and it was like the sun rising. Then we will figure this out together. I do not know what the future holds, but I know I do not want to face it without you by my side. Wu reached out and took her hand. It was the first time they had touched. Her skin was warm and soft, and it glowed brighter at his touch. I will always be by your side, he promised, no matter what happens. They stood together in the moonlight, two souls from different worlds, connected by something neither of them fully understood. The universe was vast and cold, but in that moment they had found warmth in each other. And somewhere in the darkness of space, danger was approaching. A storm was coming, but they did not know it yet. They only knew that they had found each other, and that was enough. For now, it was enough. The ships arrived without warning. They appeared in the sky like dark clouds blocking out the three suns of. There were 12 of them, each one massive and covered in black armor. They did not attack. They did not need to. Their presence was threat enough. Queen called an emergency meeting of the court. Every noble gathered in the throne room, their faces filled with fear. They were a peaceful people. They had no army, no weapons, no way to fight back against the Dominion. The doors of the throne room opened, and the enemy walked in. Prince of the Dominion was tall and powerful. His skin was dark red like dried blood. His eyes were yellow and sharp, like a predator watching its prey. He wore armor made of black metal, and a sword hung at his side. Behind him walked 20 warriors, each one bigger and stronger than the next. Wu stood behind Princess, watching the prince carefully. He had fought before. He knew how dangerous they were, but this prince was different. There was something evil in his eyes, something cruel. Felt it too. Her empathic abilities let her sense emotions, and what she sensed from Prince made her feel sick. Darkness, hunger, a complete absence of kindness. Queen, Prince said, his voice smooth and cold. I have come with a proposal. The queen sat on her throne, her face calm but her hands gripping the armrests tightly. Speak, Prince. Smiled, it was not a nice smile. The Dominion seeks to expand its influence in this region. Your empire sits at a strategic location. We could take it by force, but that would be wasteful. So many beautiful things would be destroyed. What do you want? Your daughter turned and looked directly at. His yellow eyes moved up and down her body like she was something to be purchased. Give me Princess as my bride, and the Dominion will become your ally instead of your enemy. Your people will live in peace. Your empire will prosper. The court erupted in whispers. Some nobles looked relieved. An alliance with them would mean safety. Others looked horrified. Giving their princess to this monster was unthinkable. Wu felt rage building inside him. His hand moved toward his weapon, but he stopped himself. This was not his decision to make. Queen was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke carefully. This is a significant proposal. I will need time to consider it. Of course, smile grew wider. I am a patient man. I will give you 3 days to decide. But know this, if you refuse, my ships will turn your crystal cities to dust. Your people will become slaves. Everything you love will burn. He looked at again. And I will take the princess anyway. The only difference is how many of your people die before I do. He turned and walked out of the throne room, his warriors following behind him. The court fell silent. Fear hung in the air like smoke. That night could not sleep. She sat by her window, looking up at the dark ships that hung in the sky like waiting monsters. Wu stood nearby, watching her with worried eyes. "He is evil," she whispered. "I could feel it. His soul is completely dark. There is no light in him at all." "I know," Wu said quietly. "If I marry him, he will destroy me, not my body but my spirit. He will take everything good in me and crush it." Tears formed in her eyes. "But if I refuse, my people will die. Millions of innocent lives." Wu walked closer to her. He knelt down beside her chair so that their eyes were level. "Listen to me, you will not marry him." "But my people." "We will find another way. There is always another way." She looked at him with desperate eyes. "What other way? They cannot fight. We have no weapons, no army. We are defenseless." Wu took her hands in his. They were cold and trembling. "You have me." "One man against an army. Wu, that is madness." "I have been mad before," he smiled slightly, "and I am still here." She shook her head. "I cannot let you sacrifice yourself for me. I cannot lose you. And I cannot let you sacrifice yourself for anyone. I made a promise to protect you. I intend to keep it." He squeezed her hands gently. "Trust me, we will find a way." She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe that everything would be okay. But she had seen the ships. She had felt darkness. She knew what was coming. Still, looking into Wu's eyes, she felt something she had not felt in days. "Hope." "I trust you," she whispered. For the next 2 days, Queen met with her advisors. They argued for hours. Some said she should accept the marriage. It was the only way to save their people. Others said she should refuse. Giving the princess to such a monster would bring shame to the empire forever. The queen listened to everyone but said nothing. Her heart was torn in two. She loved her daughter more than anything. But she loved her people too. How could she choose between them? On the night before the deadline, came to her mother's chambers. "Mother," she said quietly, "I have made my decision. I will marry Prince." Queen's heart broke. "My daughter. It is the only way. I will not let millions of people die because of me. If my sacrifice can save them, then I must do it." Tears fell down her face, glowing softly in the dim light. "Please understand." The queen stood and embraced her daughter. They held each other tightly, both of them crying. "You are the bravest person I have ever known," the queen whispered. But neither of them knew that danger was already inside the palace. Prince had grown impatient. He did not want to wait for an answer. He wanted to take what he believed was his. That very night, 12 assassins crept through the crystal halls. Their mission was simple: take the princess, kill anyone who got in the way. They moved silently through the darkness. They were trained killers, the best the Dominion had to offer. They had never failed a mission. But they had never faced a human warrior before. And Wu was waiting for them. Wu heard them before he saw them. Soft footsteps in the hallway, the quiet sound of blades being drawn. Normal ears would have missed it, but Wu had spent years fighting in the darkness. He knew the sounds of death approaching. He was standing outside's door as always. The princess was inside, finally asleep after hours of crying. She had made her terrible decision. She thought she was going to marry the monster tomorrow. But Wu knew the monster was not going to wait. He drew his plasma sword. The blade hummed softly, glowing bright blue in the darkness. He took a deep breath and stepped away from the door. If there was going to be a fight, he wanted it far from. The first assassin appeared around the corner. He was big, even for a. His red skin was covered in black tattoos, and he carried 2 curved blades. When he saw Wu standing alone in the hallway, he laughed. "One human," the assassin said. "They left one human to guard the princess. This will be easier than I thought." More assassins emerged from the shadows. Wu counted them quickly. 12, all armed, all deadly. He smiled. "You should have brought more," he said. The assassin's laugh died. Something in the human's voice made him nervous, something in his eyes. "Kill him," the assassin ordered. Three charged forward, their blades cutting through the air. They were fast, faster than any human could react. But Wu was not any human. He moved like water. His plasma sword danced through the darkness, blocking one strike, deflecting another, and then cutting deep into the first attacker's chest. The fell without a sound. Before the body hit the ground, Wu was already moving. He spun low, avoiding a blade that would have taken his head, and slashed at the second attacker's legs. The screamed and collapsed. The third attacker hesitated. That hesitation cost him his life. Wu's blade pierced his throat, and he joined his brothers on the floor. 3 down, 9 to go. The remaining assassins looked at each other. This was not what they expected. This human was supposed to be easy prey. Instead, he had killed 3 of their best fighters in seconds. Together, the leader growled, all at once. They attacked as one, 9 blades coming from 9 directions. No human could block them all. No human could survive such an assault. Wu did not try to block them all. He let some of them hit. A blade sliced across his shoulder. Another cut deep into his side. A third stabbed into his thigh. Pain exploded through his body. But he did not fall. He did not scream. He used the moment when they thought they had one to strike back. His blade took the head of one attacker. His free hand grabbed another and snapped his neck. He kicked a third in the chest so hard that the assassin flew into the wall and did not get up. 6 down, 6 to go. Wu was bleeding badly now. The white marble floor was turning red beneath his feet. His vision was starting to blur. His body was screaming at him to stop, to give up, to let the darkness take him. He thought of her smile, her laugh, the way her skin glowed when she was happy, the way she had said his name like it was something precious. He would not fall, not tonight, not ever. The remaining assassins attacked again. They were more careful now, more coordinated. They worked together, trying to overwhelm him with sheer numbers. Wu fought like a demon. He took more wounds, a cut to his arm, a stab to his back, a slash across his face that reopened an old scar. But for every wound he received, he gave one back. 4 more assassins fell to his blade. 10 down, 2 to go. The last 2 assassins backed away. Fear was clear in their eyes now. They had never seen anything like this. This human should be dead. He had lost so much blood. He had so many wounds, but he was still standing. He was still fighting. "What are you?" one of them whispered. Wu raised his blade. It shook in his hand. His strength was almost gone. "I am her guardian," he said. He attacked. The assassins defended, but they were scared now. Scared of this impossible human who refused to die. One of them made a mistake and Wu's blade found his heart. The other turned to run. Wu threw his blade. It spun through the air and caught the fleeing assassin in the back. He fell and did not rise. 12 down, 0 to go. Wu stood alone in the hallway, surrounded by the bodies of his enemies. Blood dripped from his wounds and pooled at his feet. His legs were shaking. His vision was fading in and out. He heard a door open behind him. Wu's voice. She had heard the fighting. She had come out to see. He turned slowly to face her. He wanted to tell her that she was safe, that the danger had passed, that everything was going to be okay. But his body had finally reached its limit. The world tilted sideways. His legs gave out beneath him. He collapsed onto the bloody floor. Screamed his name. She ran to him and fell to her knees beside him. She lifted his head into her lap, her tears falling onto his face. "You fool," she cried. "You impossible, wonderful fool. Why did you do this? Why did you fight alone?" He looked up at her. Even now, even with death so close, he thought she was beautiful. "Are you safe?" he whispered. "Yes, but you," she could not finish. The words choked in her throat. "Then it was worth it." He tried to smile, but his face would not cooperate. "You are worth everything." His eyes began to close. The darkness was calling him. It would be so easy to let go, to finally rest. No, held him, her tears glowed brighter. Do not leave me, please. I cannot lose you, I cannot. But Wu could not hear her any more. The world had faded to black. His heart beat once, twice, and then began to slow. The palace guards finally arrived. They found their princess covered in blood that was not hers, cradling the broken body of a human warrior. Around them lay 12 of the deadliest assassins in the galaxy, all of them dead. One guard knelt beside. Your Highness, we need to get you to safety. Save him, she begged. Please do something, save him. The guard looked at Wu's wounds and shook his head sadly. Your Highness, there is nothing we can do. No one could survive those injuries. He will be dead before the healers arrive. Refused to accept it. She would not let him die, not like this, not after everything. Then take me to my mother, she said, her voice suddenly hard. Now. The guard hesitated, then nodded. Yes, Your Highness. They carried Wu's body through the palace halls, walked beside him, holding his hand, refusing to let go. She had one chance to save him, one impossible chance. And she was going to take it. Queen stood in the healing chambers looking down at the dying human. The healers had done everything they could. They had closed the worst wounds. They had slowed the bleeding. But it was not enough. Human bodies were different from bodies. Their medicine did not work the same way. He will not survive the night, the chief healer said quietly. I am sorry, Your Majesty. There is nothing more we can do. Stood beside her mother, her face pale and tear-stained. She had not left Wu's side since they brought him here. Her hands still held his, even though they were cold and still. There must be something, she whispered, some way to save him. The healer shook his head. Even our most powerful medicines cannot heal wounds this severe, and his body rejects our treatments. Human biology is too different. Queen said nothing. She stood perfectly still, her white eyes fixed on the human's face. He looked peaceful in his sleep, almost like he was already dead. But he was not dead yet. She could still sense the tiny spark of life inside him, fighting desperately to survive. It was weak, so weak, but it was there. She thought about everything that had happened. This human had been sent to her against her wishes. She had despised him from the moment she saw him. She had believed every terrible thing her people said about humans, savages, beasts, monsters. But he had proven them all wrong. He had protected her daughter with a loyalty she had never seen before. He had suffered insults and cruelty without complaint. He had fought 12 elite assassins alone in the dark, with no hope of survival. He had done all of this for one reason. Love. She could see it now, even though she had been blind to it before. The way he looked at, the way he spoke her name, the way he had used his last breath to ask if she was safe. This human loved her daughter more than he loved his own life. And her daughter loved him back. That was clear now too. The way held his hand, the way she had begged for his life, the way her heart was breaking right before her mother's eyes. Queen had ruled the empire for over 1,000 years. She had made many difficult decisions. She had sacrificed many things for her people, but she had never faced a choice like this. Leave us, she said suddenly. The healers looked at her in confusion. Your Majesty. All of you, leave this room now. They obeyed without question. The Queen's word was law. Soon only 3 people remained in the chamber, the Queen, the princess, and the dying human. Looked at her mother with confusion. What are you doing? The Queen did not answer immediately. She walked slowly around the bed until she stood on the opposite side from her daughter. She looked down at Wu's face for a long moment. Do you love him? She asked quietly. His breath caught in her throat. Mother. Answer me honestly, my daughter. Do you love this human? The princess closed her eyes. Tears fell from beneath her eyelids. Yes, I love him more than I have ever loved anyone. The Queen nodded slowly. I thought so. She reached out and placed her hand on Wu's chest. His heartbeat was barely there, fatting like a dying star. "There is one way to save him," the queen said, "but it is forbidden. It has been forbidden for 10,000 years." His eyes flew open. "What do you mean?" "The light of our most sacred power. It is reserved only for royalty. Using it on an outsider is the greatest crime in our history. The punishment is exile, eternal banishment from our home." Understood now. Her mother was talking about the ancient healing light that only the royal bloodline could summon. It was said to be able to heal any wound, cure any disease, even bring someone back from the edge of death. "You would do that," whispered. "You would risk exile to save him." Queen looked at her daughter. For the first time since could remember, she saw something other than cold duty in her mother's eyes. She saw warmth. She saw love. "My daughter," the queen said softly, "I have watched you these past weeks. I have seen how happy he makes you. I have seen the light in your eyes when you speak of him. I have seen your heart open in ways I never thought possible." She paused, her voice becoming thick with emotion. "I was wrong about him. I was wrong about humans. This man is not a savage or a beast. He is the most honorable being I have ever known. He fought alone against impossible odds. He gave his blood, his pain, his life for you. That is not the action of a monster. That is the action of a hero." The queen closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were glowing brighter than had ever seen. "I will not allow his demise," she said firmly. "Your heart chose him, and I will honor that choice." Light began to flow from the queen's hands. It was warm and golden, like liquid sunlight. It spread across Wu's chest, seeping into his wounds, filling his body with healing power. Watched in awe as the light worked its magic, cuts closed, bruises faded, broken bones mended. Color returned to Wu's pale face. His breathing grew stronger. His heartbeat grew steady. The process took hours. The queen poured everything she had into the healing. Her own light grew dimmer as she gave more and more of herself to save the human. But she did not stop. She could not stop. Finally, as the first sun began to rise outside, the healing was complete. Queen removed her hands and stepped back. She was exhausted, weaker than she had been in centuries, but there was a smile on her face. Wu was alive. His wounds were gone. His body was whole. Threw herself at her mother, embracing her tightly. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." The queen held her daughter close. "No thanks are needed. You are my child. Your happiness is worth any price." She pulled back and looked into his eyes. "But you must know that this will have consequences. When the court learns what I have done, there will be outrage. Some will call for my exile. Some will demand punishment." "Then we will face it together," said firmly. The queen smiled. "You have grown so strong, my daughter. Perhaps that is his influence on you." They both looked at Wu. He was sleeping peacefully now, his chest rising and falling with steady breaths. The battle scars were gone. The pain was gone. He looked almost innocent in his sleep. "When he wakes," the queen said quietly, "tell him that he has my blessing. Whatever happens between you, whatever the future holds, he has proven himself worthy. He has earned his place at your side." His heart swelled with joy. She had never expected this. She had never dared to hope for this. "I will tell him," she promised. The queen nodded and walked slowly toward the door. At the threshold, she paused and looked back. "Love him well, my daughter. He deserves it." Then she was gone, leaving alone with the man she loved. She sat beside his bed and took his hand. It was warm now, alive. She leaned forward and pressed her lips gently to his forehead. "Come back to me," she whispered. "I am waiting." Wu opened his eyes slowly. The light was bright, too bright, and he had to blink several times before the world came into focus. He was lying in a soft bed, surrounded by white walls that shimmered like crystal. He had no idea where he was. Then he remembered. The assassins, the fight, the blood, the darkness closing in. He should be dead, he was sure of it. No one could survive those wounds. He had felt his life slipping away. He had accepted his end. But here he was, alive, whole. How was this possible? You are awake." He turned his head, was sitting beside his bed. She looked exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes and her hair messy and tangled. But she was smiling, smiling like she had never smiled before. His voice came out rough and dry. "What happened? How am I alive?" She reached out and took his hand. Her touch was warm and gentle. "My mother saved you. She used the light of it is forbidden magic, sacred healing power that has not been used on an outsider in 10,000 years. But she did it anyway." Wu stared at her in disbelief. "The Queen saved me, but she hates me. She hates all humans." "She did hate you, but that changed," squeezed his hand. "You changed her mind, Wu. When she saw what you did for me, when she saw you fight 12 assassins alone to protect me, she finally understood. She saw that you are not a savage or a monster. You are a hero." Wu shook his head slowly. "I am no hero. I just did what I had to do." "That is exactly what makes you a hero." She leaned closer, her blue eyes shining with tears. "You almost died for me. You were willing to give everything. I thought I lost you. I thought." Her voice broke. She could not finish. Wu reached up with his free hand and gently touched her face. She leaned into his palm, closing her eyes. "I am sorry I scared you," he said softly. "I never wanted to cause you pain." "Do not apologize. You saved my life. You saved me from a fate worse than death." She opened her eyes and looked at him with fierce determination. "But do not ever do that again. Do not ever leave me." "I will not, I promise." They stayed like that for a long moment, just looking at each other. So much had changed since they first met. He had been a soldier with nothing to live for. She had been a frightened princess who saw him as a monster. Now they were something else entirely, something neither of them had expected. 3 days later, Wu was called before the court. The healers had cleared him to walk, though they insisted he take things slowly. His body was still adjusting to the miracle that had saved him. The throne room was packed with nobles. Everyone wanted to see the human who had killed 12 assassins with his own hands. Some looked at him with new respect. Others still viewed him with suspicion and fear. But no one laughed at him anymore. No one called him a beast or a pet. Queen sat on her throne, looking weaker than before but still dignified and powerful. Beside her stood Princess, dressed in her finest royal gown. Wu walked down the center of the room and knelt before the throne. His heart was pounding, but not from fear. He did not know what was about to happen, but he was ready to face it. "Wu of Earth," the Queen said, her voice carrying through the silent room. "You were sent to us by the Galactic Council to serve as a guardian for my daughter. Since your arrival, you have endured insults and contempt from my people. You have worked without rest. You have given everything for your duty." She paused, letting her words sink in. 3 nights ago, you faced 12 elite assassins who came to kidnap my daughter. You fought them alone in the darkness with no hope of backup. You suffered wounds that would have killed any other being. Yet you did not fall. You refused to fall. And because of your courage, my daughter is safe." The court murmured in amazement. They had heard the stories, but hearing it from the Queen made it real. "I was wrong about humans," the Queen continued. "I believed your kind to be violent and primitive. I believed you were incapable of honor or loyalty, but you have proven me wrong. You have shown us what humanity truly is: strength, courage, love." She stood from her throne and walked down the steps until she stood before him. "I am told that in human culture, great warriors are given titles and honors. They have our own tradition for those who prove themselves worthy." She placed her hand on his head. "From this day forward, you are no longer a hired guard. You are the official guardian of the Crown Princess. This title has never been given to an outsider in our history, but you have earned it." The court gasped. This was unprecedented, a human holding one of the highest honors in the empire. "But that is not all," the Queen continued. "I also give you my blessing. Whatever path your heart chooses, whatever future you wish to build with my daughter, you have my full support." Wu looked up in shock. The queen was smiling, actually smiling at him. "Your Majesty, I do not know what to say." "Then say nothing. Just promise me you will continue to protect her. Promise me you will make her happy." "I swear it on my life." The queen nodded and stepped back. She looked at her daughter. "Come forward." Walked down from the throne and stood beside Wu. She reached down and took his hand, pulling him to his feet. They stood together before the entire court, a human and a holding hands. "Now," the queen said, "there is one more matter to address, Prince of the Dominion." As if on cue, guards brought into the throne room in chains. His arrogance was gone. He looked small and afraid. "Your assassination attempt has been reported to the Galactic Council," the queen said coldly. "The Dominion has been sanctioned. Your ships have been forced to leave our space, and you, Prince, are being sent back to your father in disgrace." Snarled, "This is not over. My father will destroy you for this insult." "Let him try," Wu said quietly. "I will be waiting." Looked at the human with hatred and fear. He remembered the reports of what this man had done. 12 of his best assassins, dead in minutes. He did not want to face that nightmare again. The guards dragged him away. The threat was over. The war had been avoided. That evening, Wu and walked through the palace gardens. The 3 moons were rising, casting silver light over the crystal flowers. Everything was peaceful. Everything was beautiful. "So you are staying," said softly. "I am staying. Even though the galaxy is vast, even though you could go anywhere." He stopped walking and turned to face her. He took both of her hands in his. "The galaxy is vast," he agreed, "but there is only one place I want to be, right here with you." She smiled, and her skin glowed brighter. "My people believe that souls connected by light will find each other across any distance. Then I guess the universe brought me exactly where I needed to be." She laughed. It was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard. And then, under the light of 3 moons, the human warrior and the alien princess shared their first kiss. It was gentle and sweet and perfect. A new dawn had come to Prime, and for Wu and it was just the beginning.